Today, we are talking about Cuddle Party and the idea that some people hear about it, they don't quite know what it is. They think it sounds like a disaster magnet for predators coming in and having a feast. And I think of it as, some people they live in their comfort zone. They maybe want to try something new that's in their growth zone, outside their comfort zone, but they don't want to get into their danger zone. And I also find myself thinking, elephants, I understand that when one of them's, injured or giving birth, the other ones circle around and protect them. So I'm wondering if we can talk about how Cuddle Party creates that safety net, being your brother's keeper, and makes it a safe place that even if an, unknown predator were to try to weasel their way in, puns somewhat intended, that why they're not going to get very far and why they're going to find
Right.
out this is not their hunting ground.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're bringing this up, first of all, because as a facilitator, as a trainer of facilitators, as part of this organization that certifies people, I am very invested in a big part of the mission and goal of Cuddle Party itself is to create safety, is to create more safety internally, collectively, within ourselves, within people. And this is why we focus on boundaries and consent, is because if touch isn't safe, it's not healthy. And I love your comfort zone growth, you know, danger zone, because the metaphor I use is right. We want to get stronger, which is growth. We want to learn and grow. And if we go to the gym and we have to have some discomfort in order to build strength. But at the same time, if we overdo it and we bite off too much, we're going to hurt ourselves. And then we can't exercise and then we're stuck. So absolutely. This is as facilitators and trainers of facilitators, that is an important part of our focus, is creating this safety so that people can learn the communication skills and the boundaries and the ways to say no that will make them stronger and less vulnerable to predators, less vulnerable to being violated in any way in other parts of their lives. That's our goal. So some of the ways that we do this, we have rules, we have a very clear structure, and we're there together and everybody agrees to it. We spend the first hour going through it. Now, participants come at a different place in their growth zone, just like at the gym. Everybody's got a different strength and it's going to be a different, weight that's going to put you in your growth zone. So for people who are concerned about this and the safety and have that experience of being violated, many of us, I'll say myself included, is my experience in culture. A lot of times we say, come and just say no to everything. Just come and, that's where you want to be, is in that place of starting small and not, but, and really building that strength. Or come, just listen to the welcome circle. Leave when the welcome circle is over, get a full refund. And you've sat through the welcome circle, and then you can think about whether you want to come back to another event or not. But really, this is about tuning into, letting go of expectations. There's no coercion in this space, but it's about getting information and checking with yourself. Where do I feel safe? What's going to help me grow? And if it's too, or come and just, and the facilitator is always there as the lifeguard, right? It was the metaphor we use, the lifeguard there. We have a couple of rules. We go through rules in the first hour. There's two rules that I want to highlight. So one of them is that this is a strictly platonic event. So we're agreeing to collectively to keep this non-sexual. And we talk about how that's subjective. What's sexual to one person isn't to another. We talk about that a little bit. But basically, we say, if you wouldn't do what you're doing, if you wouldn't be comfortable with it, if there were children in the room, or if your grandmother was in the room, like, those are really important clues that you're off tone, because that's the tone that we want to set. And then we talk about how, again, that's a little different for everyone, but we all have an inner child that feels uncomfortable when something starts to feel sexual. And if that's happening with you or somebody else in the room, if you feel uncomfortable, I'll say, can we all agree that we're going to honor that? If you're uncomfortable, we're going to shift our behavior, and that we're collectively keeping that space. So even if your inner 8-year-old isn't uncomfortable, someone else's is, let's respect that, right? And change our behavior. The other thing, and have people agree to that. These are opening collective agreements. There's another rule where we say, if you're uncomfortable, come get me. As the facilitator, as the lifeguard on duty, come get me. And I really ask people to say, hey, I can't tell if you're uncomfortable or not if you don't come get me. So, and I know that's a vulnerable thing to do, but if you're uncomfortable and you may not even know why you're uncomfortable, will you agree to at least come tell me about it, so that as the facilitator, I can address the situation in some way? So basically, all of those rules, and have people agree to that they will speak up if they're uncomfortable with something they see in the room or anything inside themselves. And they're not in charge, they're not the facilitator, but their voice matters and what they think matters to all of us collectively. So we're all invested in keeping that safety together. And then it becomes it's like a safer community or society for people to be able to be held accountable and to address things that don't feel good. And that goes a long way towards creating that safety and that stretch zone and the personal empowerment it takes for people to be able to act of their own volition and speak up.
And it also, not only is the facilitator there to help keep the room safe and the assistants, but it's a kind of a see something, say something environment. So even if, you see something, whether you're uncomfortable with it or not, like maybe you are concerned that someone you think they look uncomfortable. So you might come get the facilitator just to, we kind of take care of each other, but we also take off our caretaking hat. So to me, it's like it's a built-in safety net, and to me, that's why it's much safer than one-on-one interactions of many kinds that exist in the world that may seem much more traditional, and sometimes traditional can seem safe, but we all know that much of what goes on in the world traditionally hasn't ended up in safety, and there can be a range of that. So I love that this space is so safe. It's like the wall of Jericho or something. So something built up nice and strong that has multiple layers of protection and safety nets to kind of catch us if there to let there be a small bit of discomfort as opposed to falling all the way off the trapeze.
Thank you, Larysa. I appreciate everything that you invest in creating this space in the world.
Well, thank you so much for all that you give us as well.